Hey guys, it's Kyne. Welcome back to my channel. So I know I haven't posted a video on here in a while. I was feeling a little bit burnt out after doing so many videos in October. Plus I've been eating so much candy since Halloween, I'm considering changing my drag name to type 2 diabetes. But I'm finally back with new content, and today's video is going to be a wig styling tutorial on this simple church wig. I was kind of inspired by Ariel Versace on Instagram, who I've been following forever. She does really tall hair, and she does this one style that's kind of like Ariana Grande on steroids, which is kind of the style that I wanted to recreate today, just a little bit curlier maybe. This is 2 synthetic lace front wigs that I have stacked on my head today. I guess if you're doing this at home, you could do just one lace front right here and then a non-lace front for the ponytail, but it might be hard to find the same color in a lace front style and a non-lace front style, unless it's just like black or like blonde, but that's your problem, not mine. Before we get into the video, I want to give a shout out to Powder Room D for providing me with these wigs. I'll leave the link down below if you want to check out their website, and you can use the coupon code onlinekyne to save money off of the entire site. Obviously, you can use whatever kind of wig you want. This video's just showing you the techniques anyway, so let's get started. Okay, so this tutorial is going to be split up into 3 main parts, doing the base wig, which is the wig that you're going to see at your hairline, and then there's the fall, which is like the second wig that we're going to add to the ponytail, and then the final step is going to be putting it all together. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to curl my base wig with some rollers. I've done this in tons of videos, so you can check those out if you want more details. Depending on how the wig looks when I get it, I might not curl it if it's already pretty curled straight from the factory setting, but this wig came in pretty straight, so I wanted to add some curls. I just used a plastic wire mesh roller and then pinned it in with these long sewing pins, and then I'm going to set it with some steam underneath a bag. This whole process takes me about 30 or 40 minutes. I'm usually like watching Netflix or something while I do this, and you want to take your time because even though the curls don't have to be perfect or flawless because it's a messy kind of edgy style, you don't want to have ugly looking curls that are kinked up or some strands are straight, so just take your time here. And then I steam it with a steamer to kind of form the plastic to take the curl shape. People have asked, can you use a blow dryer for this? I wouldn't recommend it. I think that the dry heat would be too damaging to the hair and it wouldn't even curl it really. A better alternative to a steamer would be to use steam from a kettle, or even just dunking the wig into boiling hot water for like 5 seconds and then letting it completely dry overnight. So this is the next day now. This whole process, mind you, actually took me about like 3 or 4 days maybe. I just wore the same shirt for the sake of continuity. I still let the steam dry overnight, and then I'm taking down the curls and brushing the wig out. And then next I'm going to start teasing it to give some volume. This is going to be our base wig that's on the bottom, so it's not going to be providing the main body of the wig, but it's still important to tease it anyway. Teasing is always going to be the main foundation of any hairstyle. It's going to give the hair some texture so it's not so slippery. That way when we put this into a ponytail, the hair won't be sliding right out of it because the teasing has made it sort of rough and workable. And also the hair is going to have a little bump at the forehead before going into the ponytail, so it'll look a little bit sassy. My teasing technique is always kind of changing. I still really like this bristle teasing brush. It makes teasing really easy, but I don't want to pack all the hair down to the root. The main teasing is going to be kind of concentrated at the root, but I'm still going to lightly backcomb up the hair so that there's a bit more volume. You don't just want to push all the hair down to the bottom aggressively because A, it's going to be hard to smooth out later on, and B, the whole point of teasing is to make the hair a little bit fluffy. So the strand should kind of look like a long cloud of fluffy hair, and only the tips should be left untouched. So when it's done, the entire hair is going to be one big frizzy cloud that has the most volume close to the scalp. And then I'm going to smooth it out. One trick I started doing is actually just holding the wig stand upside down and then brushing away from yourself until the surface looks kind of pretty. Obviously, we'll do more smoothing closer to the end when we're putting it all together with the ponytail, but every single step I've done up to now, you want to repeat with your second wig. So I'll fast forward through all of this because This is just the exact same process on my second identical wig. And I'll mention now that I could have steamed this and curled this at the same time as the last one, so I could let them both dry at the same time overnight. But the problem was I didn't have enough rollers to do both, and it's important to curl it the exact same way as you curled your base wig, and even tease it the same way. So you need to use the same kind of sized rollers and put them in the same pattern because the wigs need to blend together. Unless of course you want it to be different size curls, but for this style we don't want it to be obvious that we have two wigs on our head. We just want it to be one big sassy wig. While I'm repeating all the same steps on the second wig, I'll also take the time now to mention that the top wig doesn't actually have to be the same wig as the base, it just needs to be the same color. If it's a different length, you can give it a haircut or cut layers and make it work. But if you want to save some money, you can also just use a lace front on the base, but for the top you can buy a hard front wig or even just a bunch of ponytails or hair pieces, toppers. There are websites that sell hair pieces exactly for the sole purpose of going on top of your hair. You can get these at lots of beauty supply stores, but in most cases you'll only find them in black, brown, blonde, because these stores are kind of catered for real girls. My point is just that the top wig doesn't need to be a lace front because you don't need to see the lace, and it doesn't even need to be a wig because it doesn't go around your head. It can just be a hair piece. Your only challenge is going to be matching the color of your base wig, and in my case you're just going to need enough hair up there that it covers the bump that we're going to put on later. So now that you have two wigs that are identically curled and teased and smoothed out, the third and last step is going to be putting these wigs together. And this took me a couple of tries to get it right, but I'll let you know what I did wrong the first time. So the first time I took my base wig and put the entire thing into a ponytail. This turned out to be a mistake because it created too much weight at the back of my head. This is what it looked like in the end. It was a little shorter, which I could live with, but the problem was that it kept sliding back. So I took it down, and what I ended up doing was only making a ponytail out of the front hair from temple to temple, not ear to ear, and about like 5 inches back. That way you can still see some hair being slicked back at the forehead, but the majority of the wig is down. That way there's not too much weight in the ponytail, and it is bigger and longer at the end since more of the hair is down. Also, leaving hair down around the ears does have to cover up like an awkward part of the lace that's sometimes hard to glue down, which I always appreciate. An optional step now is to add what's called a bump, which is some kind of fluffy cushioning underneath the fall wig. So I'm going to be putting the top wig over the small ponytail that I created, but I'm going to take another wig that I had lying around and I'm going to put this in that little ponytail. You don't have to use another wig if you don't have one. You can use plastic bags, bubble wrap, condoms, your will to live, whatever you got. In hindsight, I think I should have used something that was lighter actually, so it wouldn't add as much weight. But you don't have to use anything here at all. You can just put the top wig on top without any kind of bump in between. This is only for those of you who want really tall hair. A bump is a way to cheat the appearance of more volume with less work. I secured it in with a couple of bobby pins and I just put a wig cap over it so you could really see what's happening here. And I think you can guess where this is going now. We're gonna take that top wig and cover up the bump. For this, I'm gonna unpin my base wig and actually work on a little desk so I can show you better. The idea is to enclose the bump inside the top wig, so I'm going to place my ponytail wig upside down in front of the bump and pin it in this way. This way, when I flip it over, the edge of the lace is folded inwards and you won't see it. And to secure it, I'm going to use zip ties, which is 100 times stronger than bobby pins. I highly recommend you get yourself some of these. I'm poking this through the lace and into the cap of the base wig, which is why I wanted to take it off the mannequin block, because I needed to be able to reach underneath and finesse the tip back up. Just make sure it's really going through to underneath of the cap of the base wig and you're not just looping it around some hair. I only used 3 of these to anchor the top wig down, and then when I flipped it over to cover the bump, I secured the back of it with 2 more zip ties that again I anchored onto the cap of the base wig. The beautiful thing about zip ties is that they're cheap, they're small, lightweight, and you can easily cut them out with scissors if you mess it up or want to change things later on. And these things are so strong you never have to worry about your wigs coming apart, so this lately has been my favorite way to stack wigs together. And the last step is just to blend these 2 wigs together. I didn't really smooth out the teasing thoroughly earlier because I wanted to wait until the wigs were kind of secured together so I could judge better what it would look like in the end. And my technique is kind of just taking the hair strand by strand and brushing it through to the tips so that it should start looking a lot smoother. And the 2 wigs blended together so seamlessly I didn't even really have to try at this. I finished it with a light coat of hairspray just to secure any flyaways on the hairline, and that's the finished wig. So this is what the wig looks like on. It looks fabulous, but it's really freaking heavy. This is actually my second attempt at doing this. The first one you didn't see because I edited it out, but when I first did this style, I made too much weight go back here, so the wig kept sliding back and it was like impossible to wear. So when doing this, I really recommend when you add your ponytail and the bump, make sure it's kind of like just on top of the head so there's not too much weight on the back. Otherwise, it's gonna be impossible to wear. I've done ponytail tutorials in the past on my channel using only one wig, but as you probably saw from those, even if the wig is really long, pulling it up into a ponytail only leaves like a little amount of hair to be in the ponytail. That's better for if you're going for a more sleek look, maybe you want something to dance in more, but if you want something really big and long, you're gonna need to have that second wig to act as the falling hair. But if you're really concerned about the weight of it all, I might not add that extra stuffing up here because that does just add bulkiness to it. But I'm sure you guys will find your own ways to make the style your own. One other thing you can do, I guess, if you have like a piece of ribbon, you can add a piece of ribbon up here. I don't know, if you like the look of that, if you have like a cute bow up there, you can just make it your own, but not my style. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Also, let me know what other kind of videos you want to see on my channel now that October is over and all of my Halloween content is done. I'm open to taking suggestions. You can also follow me on Instagram at onlinekyne. I sometimes will live stream my makeup process on there like I did today when I don't want to film for YouTube, so I tend to be a lot more active on there if you want to reach me. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!